The Dominican Republic has a really well-staffed health system, but they're under-resourced in a lot of ways that we take for granted in the United States, both in terms of equipment, like sonograms and x-rays, and also in terms of the type of medical information that they're able to access, as a lot of them don't have access to the internet.
The situation is that the medical students in these rural clinics are fresh out of medical school, and they may be facing a whole range of conditions and symptoms, and their resources might be limited to a 10-year-old medical textbook sitting on the shelf. This project began with our research in Cuba last year, where we found that connectivity in Cuba is terrible, but the Cubans have been very ingenious in finding ways to use offline digital media. So they download a lot of content and then they use it for various purposes. So we said, well, how could this be applied elsewhere to areas that have similar problems? And the Dominican Republic was suggested by our partners at Mount Sinai because they're already working with clinics there.
We're advancing two big ideas in development practice. The first one is human-centered designs for technologies in general, especially in ICT for development. The second one is the offline technologies, where we saw the potential in Cuba of how you can reach those areas that don't have the infrastructure with the information that they're needing. That could be in health, in education, or in financial inclusion.
I was presenting our Cuba research to a Wikipedia conference in San Diego. And a fellow named Adam Holt came up and said, I have something that connects to what you're doing.
We've been visiting doctors and medical students presenting this device, which is like a USB that stores a great amount of information. It can be accessed by up to 30 people wirelessly and without a connection to the internet. It also has a battery that lasts up to 24 hours.
When our researchers from Columbia went to these clinics and did a demonstration of the device to the young doctors, they always use the same term, their eyes lit up, because they said, oh, I can find all of these symptoms, I can find articles about medications. They were hopeful that it could be updated at least once a year. For example, we'll load an app that will have the Dominican Republic's medical protocols for each disease, and you can do that country by country. This is just a prototype, and the contents can and will be adapted to the need. So part of what the research involved was saying, all right, here are the contents, you like it, what else would you like? So you go from the 10-year-old medical textbook to very, very up-to-date medical information.
Ellos tienen una serie de información de Wikipedia y de enciclopedia, incluyendo 150 palabras en creol, en inglés, 150 páginas de palabras, en lo que habíamos pensado tú y yo.
Sí, sí.
Bueno, pues con ellos nosotros pudiéramos hacer ese manual y subirlo, y entonces la persona, donde quiera que esté, sin conexión de internet, puede bajar la información.
Interesante.
Sí.
Throughout this trip, throughout the 10 days, we've visited rural urban clinics, government officials, universities, telecom companies, utility companies, and I think the main challenge is to really find the ideal partner to take these projects to a next step.
We had a meeting with a high-ranking government official from the Ministry of Health who looked at the device. He got it immediately. He asked the price. And he said, we could afford that. We could scale that. We could put this in every clinic in the country. People have been very focused on how fast can you get broadband. The answer is, to a lot of areas, not very fast. These interim solutions are incredibly important, and the development practice program has a unique ability to assess and implement that. I do feel that the university and SIPA would have a very constructive part to play in filling in those missing steps. If we get the funding and support, there seems to be great willingness here in the program to undertake that.